Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being part of this session, though it's being non-technical. I know you guys are always working in clouds, looking after dealing with the complexities of the datas and malware, software, hardware problems. So here I'm going to provide you a little respite. I'm going to take you down for a small, let's say, walking into the villages and these roads, small towns, and just to show you as to what all is happening in ground. Today we are going to discuss a very important project, that's Aadhaar. And as you all know, that Aadhaar is basically a national flagship program by the government of India to provide identity, a unique identity to every Indian. So as you all know that recently we carried one report whereby we have highlighted the kind of problems, the CUFOPs that's being reported all across the country, and especially a great concern to you guys who are an expert into this. And for the last so many years, you guys were highlighting, flagging the issues, but the government was not ready to accept. So in fact, this is the first time that the government has accepted, though not completely, but they said that there is definitely a misuse, there is an intrusion. So today I'm going to discuss with you as to what actually I did, how I'll end up with the story, what all we did, how I investigated the case, and just to provide you more kind of view about the investigations and the details which we carried in the story. Before I discuss with you my investigation, which is reported to be the most sensational, let me just give you a brief introduction about Aadhaar, the program. As you know that Aadhaar, basically after the Kargil war after 1999, a need was felt to provide some kind of identity to the people living in border villages. Slowly, it later developed to be some kind of identity to the border districts and then to states. And finally, it was decided to provide a kind of unique identity to every Indian, basically to look after, the proliferation, the kind of issues that's happening in the, welfare schemes, the direct benefit schemes. So Aadhaar was planned. That time Planning Commission, which is now known as Niti Aayog, it came up with an idea, and as you know, Mr. Nandan Nilekani was appointed. He was a co-founder of Infosys. He was appointed as the chairperson for this UIDAI that was working as an office under the Planning Commission that time. After looking at this, then the government got more serious. Mr. Nandan Nilekani said that yes, he need to speed up, he want to provide more wings to it. And then they came up with an idea of coming up with the common service centers. Initially, Aadhaar was planned to, enrollment was done through the post offices and from the banks. But to speed up the issue, because they were, they have to do enrollment for over 1 billion Indians. So they hired these, they got in touch with the common service centers, which was running in the country since 2006. The common service centers was running through the village level enterprises, which we call the VLEs. Though they were known as the VLEs, the village level enterprises, but they were also working in urban areas. They had got some small kiosk, they were having a computer, and they were just doing small, providing some kind of e-governance services like the filling of this Bijli ka bill and pani, this water supply bills, and kind of booking the tickets or the rail tickets. This is what they were doing. So once they got this Aadhaar enrollment task, they were put to job. There were a lot of rush coming to their this thing. It has really earned their prospects of bread and butter, and they were in fact became the front force, in fact the army for Mr. Nandan Nilekani. That time there was a well-established network of village-level enterprises. Around 3 lakh VLEs were working during that time, and all of them were asked to. This is how the whole setup was planned. The standardized hardware, that's the GPS, the biometric scanners, printers. Initially, the UIDAI, let me just give you a structure. It was like the UIDAI had hired the enrollment, the CSC. The CSC, the Common Service Center, further hired the agencies, the enrollment agencies. And then the enrollment agencies further hired the agencies further who will do the enrollment for these Aadhaar operators, or we call the village level enterprises. So it was a huge chain, and it was all privatization. The government just gave an introduction, just gave the task to CSC, and the CSC was further, had outsourced another agency for the training separately, for the enrollment separately. So this all is happening, and the UIDAI was only and only limited to the providing the software facility to them. This was a broad outline of how the Aadhaar was, the entire system was planned. The UIDAI had appointed registrars at state levels. The state levels were in touch with the common service centers. The common service center scheme, the projects, they were district managers at each level. And these district managers, they were hiring these for some other agencies. These agencies were enrolling the village level enterprises. Now here, the most important thing is this SFTP and the carrier. Once an enrollment is being done, the data was getting transferred through two different modes. One is from the secure file transfer protocol, as you all must be aware, and the other is through couriers. Now what is happening is that the infrastructure requirement also asks the village level enterprises to have the USBs, memory sticks. Now, why they wanted? In fact, initially the CSE was offered free infrastructure to majority of the VLEs to attract them. But later, once they see that there was a huge rush because the VLEs were not earning much, but with Aadhaar, the prospects were manifold. So these poor VLEs who were not even graduates, they do not have any regular income source. They took loan for up to 3 lakhs, and they started getting, these machines. They were buying the kind of infrastructure, the printer, which was very costly, around 60 to 70,000 rupees. They were buying the memory sticks. They were buying the computers. They were buying the iris scanner. They were buying the Aadhaar biometric machine as well. So up to an approximate cost of 2 to 2.5 lakhs, these village level enterprises were even forced to pay bribe, as confirmed by many of the VLEs which I came across, not only from Jalandhar or from Punjab, but from other states as well. These village level enterprises have confirmed, they had claimed that apart from the infrastructure, they had even paid a bribe of up to 2 to 3 lakhs to get themselves registered as village level enterprises and to hold this Aadhaar operator program. Now, after this data was enrollment process was there, they were asked to keep a backup of the machinery. They were asked to keep a backup of the data in case there is some problem with the software, because you just cannot call everyone for the enrollment again and again. So after the backup, they were asked to send a copy through the SFTP to the UIDAI headquarters, to CIDR, and they were asked to also send the hard copies through courier to them. And only once the UIDAI receives both the copies, they compare the deduplication, and once it is clear, then they are going to issue the Aadhaar cards. Imagine the kind of sensitivity the data hold. The data which was getting transferred in memory sticks, they were also told to secure this for almost 20 days. The data has our biometric, demographic details. That's the name, address, gender, date of birth, mobile and email optional. The most important is the state government fields. As you all know, there is a KYR and KYR plus. The state government holds more data. It also includes our caste, our religion, our family details, how many children, how many brothers, sisters we have, in a family, and also our LPG connections, our driving license. The list goes on and on. The government, there was no restriction either by the central government or by the state government about the details of the data one can ask for. The citizens were forced to provide all kind of details, whatever is being asked by the KYR or KYR plus fields. Now look at the certification, look at the enrollment qualification. How we are getting enrolled. Aadhaar, which was considered to be the most, reliable identity source, a unique identity, was based on these kind of proofs, which itself proves the vulnerability of the software, of the program. The document-based, it was document-based. The identity proof includes your PAN card, passports, and other stuff. But look at those who were not having the PAN cards, who were not having any valid identity proof. They were allowed to, even the head of the family can give it in writing, that she's my daughter, he's my son, she's my wife. It was also accepted. And also, it was introducer-based. Now, in places like in villages, this particular introducer-based facility was misused to the highest extent. Even it is being used now. Last month, there were around 3 to 4 people who had approached our incumbent MLAs from Congress in Jalandhar, and they had said that they want to get an identity proof made because they want to enroll for Aadhaar. So they somehow managed to get to access to the staff of these MLAs. The MLAs were not aware. And one of them even managed to make one this certificate, which states that this MLA knows this person for 2 years. And the another MLA, luckily we found it because there was another MLA, he was standing outside his house, and these people just approached this MLA and said, look, we want to meet the MLA, we want to get a certificate made. And he said, I don't know you, and then they just ran away from them. The MLA got suspicious, he informed the police authorities, and within 24 hours the group was caught, they were arrested, and later on we came to know that majority of them were filed under attempt to murder cases, they were filed under theft cases, and they even managed, to make a success, this kind of certificate, approval certificate from the MLAs as well. So these were the kind of basis of enrollment on which the UIDAI's most confidential, you can say the entrusted project was based. Just to give you a little more idea about the packet generation, during enrollment, as I said, that there were two different kinds of information. One is the KYR, other is the KYR plus. So on the basis of that, two different packets were made. One for the state government, not all state governments, but majority of the state governments, they were asked. According to their basis, two packets were generated. One is for the state, that is KYR to the Central Identity Data Repository, and the other is the KYR plus to the state governments. State governments are running their different welfare schemes, so this was basically used to identify the beneficiaries for these particular programs. As I told you, there were two ways to send one, either through the SFTP and the memory stick plus backup. And here is our first proud Aadhaar card holder, Mrs. Ranjana Sonavane in Tembil. She got her first card made on 30th of September 2010. And that is how the Aadhaar project got enrolled in the country. This was in 2010. Everything seems so good. Everything, the government was happy. Mr. Nilankani, who was given a cabinet rank, was happy. He has already reached his saturation in his career because he was a co-founder, he retired from Infosys, he was given a cabinet minister rank. But yes, something needs to be done, and what he thought was to speed up the process to get all the billion Indians onto this ambit of this Aadhaar card. So what he did, in 4 years, with the help of this village-level enterprise, the army for Mr. Nilankani, it reached 60 crores. It touched the 60 crore figure. Mr. Nilankani, very happy, he tweeted. He said, Mera Aadhaar, one of 60 crore proud Indians. He called himself to be one in 60 crores. And he also displayed his Aadhaar card on his Twitter account. Now, how the project, jisko hum bolte hain, nazar kaise lagi? What are the weak points? What happened to Aadhaar? Why you all guys are always keep on flagging the issue, Aadhaar is not safe. Kiski nazar lagi, kaise lagi? That we will discuss in this part of my presentation. The weak points were, again, the VLEs. I spoke to a lot of VLEs, I'm in touch with them. Though they appear to be villain to all of us, because they are the one who cracked the software, they are the one who jailbreak it, they are the one who have sold it, they are the one who are doing it. Everything is fine, but we need to understand why they are doing it. It is very important for us to know that why they're committing this crime and this serious crime. The village-level enterprises, as I told you, that the government was happy, they just gave the responsibility to the CSE. The CSE further, without any identification, gave it to some third parties, some enrollment agencies to hire these VLEs. These VLEs, there was no qualification criteria for them, even a 10th pass, even a 8th standard. I meet so many these operators who are not even, not even cleared their higher secondary exam, that's a 10th class. And they are just, okay, they are just making Aadhaar cards. They do not have any police verification. There was no police verification done. Though they were asked to keep the data safe for 20 days, they were asked to put it in the memory stick and to send it to the CIDR, but there was no police proof made for them. Then the most important part is there were no salaries. No salaries were offered to them. There was no salaries, they were only put on commission basis. In fact, commission was also not given to them by the agencies who hired them. And the government is just not bothered just to check that what is happening to their ground force. Now, once they do not have a commission, once they do not have salaries, these village-level enterprises, they got stuck because they have already paid up to, as I told you, 3 to 4 lakhs in setting up the infrastructure and to paying bribes and all to the agencies. So they even took loans, and they started, the first crime they commit was that they started overcharging. Though the government kept a very, very minimal fee up to 15 rupees to 25 rupees per service updation. But what they did was that they raised the price to up to 150 rupees to 200 rupees, and even in certain cases, up to 250 rupees also. You want to know the modus operandi? There was an enrollment form, and in that enrollment form, the prices are written. For 25 rupees for the name, 10 rupees for the printout, 5 rupees for this. So what these Aadhaar operators used to do, they tear apart that part, and they just give the enrollment slip, upper wala portion, to the pay person, and the applicant not even come to know about it, what is the actual price of the money. Now, because of this, because operators, some of them are ITI graduates, even they had these company agents, the district managers, they also want to earn money. So what they did was that they started finding, loopholes into the software. They started breaking, crashing, whatever security, features were coming in between. They just kept on bypassing the biometrics. They kept on making the cloning. A lot of cases were registered. You look at, there are the few cases which I found, during my research. In 2012, ILNFS issue, that's the enrollment agency. You just put, I'll just tell you, for any Aadhaar operator to open a software, you need an Aadhaar operator's fingerprints. So once you put, it was saying like, you're not eligible, again second time, but third time, they were getting an access. So that was the issue which was reported in 2012. A similar story on the lines of my report also appeared earlier in 2015, whereby our Times of India correspondent, she noticed an unauthorized service centers in Malleshwaram, Bangalore, whereby the people they were found they were not registered as, working under CSCs. They were also found making Aadhaar cards. In 2007, the most scary was reported in 2017 from Kushinagar in Uttar Pradesh, whereby the clone fingerprints, we came to know it was on industrial level. The production was going on industrial level. The police arrested around 10 people for bypassing the biometrics of this particular software, that's the ECMP. Sorry. In 2017, the Gujarat PDS happened. As you know, in Surat, police arrested, again, I think a group of 6 people, a gang of 6 members. They were asked, I think this is the first case of biometrics theft also was reported. They stole the biometric data of a chairman of a bank, of a reputed bank in Surat. They stole this biometrics of an MLA, an MP, and everyone was caught aware. They were found to have, withdrawing ration on the basis of their biometrics and other demographic data. What happened after initial reports? Mr. Nilenkani was surprised. He was shocked. He was angry. He said, what is happening? So what he did was, the UIDAI suspended around 50,000 enrollment agencies. Restricted, I think I was told around 60,000 agencies. Out of that, around 50,000 were just suspended with immediate effect. Restricted enrollment to banks and post offices. Now, once they restricted the enrollment to these banks and post offices, then what happened? The VLEs, again, became jobless. Though they were making money, they were using unnatural, unfair means to earn their bread and butter, but now there was nothing left to them. They were just given, a restricted access was there, and they were not allowed to even use the software. Then what happened? As Mr. Nilenkani, as I told you, that initially, we need to understand there is a human angle also in it. I'm not a technical expertise like you guys have, but yes, I'm reporting from ground. I do, being a journalist, I also have a human angle. I'm not taking sides of the VLEs, but yes, I just want to tell you what actually had happened. The front level force, the government didn't care much about them. They immediately tell them to remove their hardwares, to remove their infrastructure, and they just pull the data back, and then they were left in dark. They were not given any kind of assurance. They were not given any kind of bank guarantees, any job guarantees, and they were asked to go back to their old places of, job of filing these electricity bills and power bills and to rail tickets and everything like that. The VLE fights back, and they fight back in a very dangerous way, and they have put our national security into great concern. What happened? By 2017, it was just 2 days before Diwali. They were all happy. They were preparing, for the Diwali, as you know, a festival, especially I think celebrated in North India. तो बहुत ज़्यादा और भी होता है. So this Diwali May, just 2 days before they got this information, a message came that you have been restricted, you are not allowed to use it. And it was kind of Black Diwali that was celebrated all across the country by these VLEs. They fight back. How they did it? They again get all these jailbreak softwares, which initially was there. They started getting an access to it. These village level enterprises, around 3 lakh, they were having around 20 to 30 WhatsApp groups. They were running that. And these kind of messages started appearing in December 2017 in these WhatsApp groups. Now, what these messages says, ID or MasterCard के लिए contact करें, offer for 3 days. New Year offer. दिवाली तो खराब हो गई, अब नया साल खराब ना हो, तो क्या करना है कि हमें ये सॉफ्टवेयर खरीदना है, हम आपको बेचेंगे. You have to just give us 500 रुपये दो, या आप हमें 2500 रुपया दो. 500 रुपये में if you give us, आप हमें Paytm के through दो, आपके पास you give us 500 rupees and we will give you an access. We'll provide you a login ID and a password. आप उसको वो करो and you will get access to the central CIDR base. और आप किसी का भी आधार कार्ड बनाओ, अपडेट करो, कुछ भी करो, आप उनसे पैसे भी लो. अगर आप हमें 2500 रुपया देते हो, हम आपको एक सॉफ्टवेयर देंगे जिससे you can further make the 500 rupees just a software and you can sell it to as many people as you can. The most important thing to notice here is that this is of no use to an Aam Aadmi, only a VLE or a person who has done an Aadhaar work or some expert like you that is of use to them. So that is why it has started, it appeared only in these village level enterprises, unke groups mein sara aaya tha. This is another advertisement which appeared, charge rupees 500. Look at the kind of level of these VLEs. A person who's not even aware about the exact spelling of New Year, they were making Aadhaar cards. They were hired to make Aadhaar cards, the enrollments to carry out. That is under the national, scheme. That is what this plight is of this country is all about. This is my investigation. I got these screenshots during my investigations from various VLEs, their phone numbers. Inactive or active PDF for rupees 80, these are the charges which they used to charge. Just compare it with the charges that's being decided, this announced by the government. Not more than 25 rupees per head. They were charging up to 80 rupees, for password recovery 30 rupees, for data processing charge, error is for 20, duplicate problem rupees 50. This is the person, Aadhaar, a photograph of this person has appeared on the phone of one VLE, once I met him, and he has saved his number as Aadhaar portal duplicate. उनको उसका नाम भी नहीं पता और उसका सेव किया हुआ है Aadhaar portal duplicate. That is, he's a person who is supplying this kind of software to them, to the village level enterprises. I carried the contact number of this person in my story. We didn't hide anything. We at the Tribune, we just informed everything that's there. We put it in our record and for up to the UIDAI to investigate and the police to investigate. Then the CSC family also says Aadhaar PDF without mobile number register only. Even if you have not registered your mobile number, you can have a PDF, you can generate a PDF of Aadhaar. So the VLEs who had a dark Diwali, they do not have anything. They were so tempted because they just minted money like anything. They made multiple softwares, they made multiple windows, they were charging, and there's a lot of updation. So it was a very kind of tempting proposal to them, and they all started enrolling. By the end of January, I think end of December, New Year, I was told that around 1 lakh village level enterprises had already got access to this software, not even to a 500 rupees software, but majority of them had access to the 2500 rupees master software. So a multiple kind of softwares were made. Following this entire investigation which we carried out, we carried the story on January 3rd. We informed how this all is happening. We gave the entire detail. This is the kind of event that we carried out during investigation. Just to give you a brief, around 10 o'clock in the morning, I got this information. In fact, it was late in the night only, on 1st of January, I got this information, that a person is roaming with a laptop into various media houses, and he's informing that he got some, because he was a village level enterprise, he was aware what kind of access he's authorized and what kind of access he's not authorized. So around 10:30, I got this information that the person is roaming with his laptop to some various media houses. He has given a presentation to the senior editors and the reporters and informed them that there's some kind of authorized leak. Somehow it was a new year, the reporter somehow, the deal couldn't materialize, it couldn't materialize. So morning, because I'm covering crime, I got my own sources in the city. So some person informed me. I tried to contact him. I managed to get his number around 11:30, but it was too late. My deadline also crossed, so I thought I'll do the investigation next day morning. So on morning, on 3rd of January, I visited his office. It was a very small shop in a place called Ramamandi area. That's a major hub point. Once you enter Jalandhar, the first thing is the Ramamandi circle, roundabout. It was a very narrow lane, and I just found him. I just saw him sitting in a small shop. I was not able to understand how come this small shop, a person sitting here, can have an access to the entire database of the country. That was something very, surprising, very shocking. So I thought, let me just try. Let me just investigate what all is happening. So around, I discussed with him. I spoke to him for 2 hours. I understood what all he wants to convey, what all is happening. I took the entire detail of the village, which I all discussed with you. I started from the beginning because I was not covering Aadhaar, so I was not aware about the history. So around 12:30, once I got the entire information, I came to know something is definitely wrong. I need to highlight it. So 12:30, we began the operation. The photograph which I showed you, I asked this guy to, let's just begin. Let's just do a kind of a dry run. Let's see whether what he's stating is right or wrong. So he agreed to me, the village level enterprise, and he agreed. He says, ma'am, I will buy a software just in front of you. So 12:30, we approached this person, and I was told that we just need 3 things. He needs a name, he needs 1 email, and a contact number. So we just gave him a number, Anamika, and we contact this person, Anamika, to this person, Anil, and we asked him to create an access portal for us. Within 2 minutes, Kumar asked us our name, our email ID, and mobile number with a charge of ₹500. At 12:35, we created a new mail because I was not ready. I said, you just create an email ID by the name aadhaarjalandhar@gmail.com. So we created a new ID, and we passed on a contact number. You'll be surprised to know we didn't even have a number also. We didn't save it. We just gave it a fake number, and we passed it on to Anil. At 12:48, we transferred ₹500 in his account through Paytm. And at 12:49, the email ID which we generated, which we created that time, it received a message which says that you have been enrolled as an enrollment agency administrator for CSC SPV. After this, we opened the data, the CIDR, that main website, that's portal.uidi.gov.in. And there were 3 basically parts which they want an access. One is the login, one is the password, and the third is the access code. So the software somehow works like this. That's for up to you guys to understand. I don't understand how this is happening. But whenever we used to put a login ID and password that's being provided by this agent Anil Kumar to us, immediately an access code was coming to the email which we created. Whenever we put that, a new access code was coming to that. We tried 3-4 times. Whenever you use login ID, every time there was a new access code that's coming on to the email. We use that access code, we fill it in that, and then the entire CIDR was open in front of us. There was a dashboard. It asks us to write a name, the number of any Aadhaar number. Whenever we was filling that Aadhaar number of any person, like we have me, this guy VLE, then there was 1 or 2 bosses who were also aware about it. So these things, once we put that, the entire information was coming. The pictures, the name, detail, all the demographic information was there within a second. So we had an access by 12:50. We had an access to the CIDR of the Government of India. What UIDAI did? UIDAI initially refuted. Then it said that no, this is not a breach. This is not a data breach. This is a case of misreporting. Misreporting, why? Because it was not a breach. It is a misuse of the grievances redressal search facility that's being provided to the registrars and to other stakeholders in the project. UIDAI also claimed in its statement that as UIDAI maintains complete log and traceability of the facility, the legal action, including lodging of FIR against the persons involved in the instant case is being done. Even though UIDAI claimed that it maintains a complete log, it maintains a complete traceability, it is unable to find the traceability, it was unable to trace Anamika, who has entered into that system on that particular day. I did not receive. I asked the officials, they were not able to track me down. They were not able to inform me till date that which all Aadhaar cards I have managed to see in these, through this login. Now after this, just to give you outline as to how the story developed, I immediately called the UID official, Mr. Thakur, he is the regional head. I asked him, I said, sir, I'm having some kind of some Aadhaar leakage. It appears to me there's some kind of leakage in your central database. So I request you to please inform me what all is happening. He said, I'm busy, I'm outside, I'm out of station. You please get in touch with my regional head. I asked him the number, I was not provided. I searched for Google, searched into the Google, I found the regional head office in Jalandhar. I looked for the Punjab head, I called him. I said, sir, there is some kind of data breach. Please inform me, please explain me what's happening. I have to report, I need to know what actually is happening. Something is wrong, but please let me know. He said, this is not possible. I'll tell my in charge who's dealing with the system, he will get in touch with you. So another officer called me, Mr. Sanjay called me up, and then he asked me what all is happening. I informed him that this is what is happening. He said, ma'am, this doesn't happen. This cannot be possible. It's just not possible. I said, if it is not possible, the time once he said it is not possible, I understood that what जो मुझे समझ आ रहा है वो वही है और बहुत खतरनाक है, बहुत भयंकर है. But I have to hold my horses. I have to make him put on record because they cannot file my story, this sensitive story, without his court. I said, sir, why don't you give me your Aadhaar card number? Give me your Aadhaar number, I'll provide you all your details. He says, ma'am, I don't provide you my details. You provide me your login ID password. I said, sir, if I provide you my login ID password, you will, आप मुझे ban कर दोगे, how will I prove my story? So it's better that either you provide me your this thing. So we kept on asking. So then I told him, I said, sir, you just tell me one thing. Even if you say that it is not true, you just give me a one-liner. If what I'm saying is true, then what? He said, if it is true, of course, that's a security breach. You can call it a security breach. It's a major national security breach. The time he said that, it was my story. I got a quote, what I wanted, and I went ahead with the story. Because I didn't much research, because I was not aware about what technical glitches can be there. So the story, if you see, it is a very simple story. It is just a kind of playback of what I observed, what I have written, and I've left it up to the government and to experts like you to identify what all is happening, what all has actually happened. No technical aspects, we just reported what we have witnessed, what we have gone through, and what we have said. The government, though, claimed that it is not a data breach, it is a case of misreporting. The word they used is misreporting. They charged me under IT Act, under Aadhaar Act, for data breach. If it is a case of misreporting, they should have filed some criminal case against me. They should have filed some other sections against me. Why they have filed that breach, they are not able to answer it till date. So they filed an FIR, not against the person Anil Kumar, not against anyone else, but they filed a case against Rachna Khaira and the Tribune. And the FIR is still lodged. It has not been quashed. The FIR was launched, but the investigation has not been launched. It is, they have just filed an FIR. I don't know what they're going to do about it. But this FIR 009 is still there in the records. The response, Edward Snowden. The journalist exposing the Aadhaar breach deserves an award, not an investigation. A lot of hue and cry was reported, not only from the media, from the experts. I'm very thankful to all of you because I think the maximum support which I wanted was after the report. And you'll be surprised to know, I'm sure most of all of you must be aware that I was taught a lot of things after the report. I was new to this cybersecurity. I had never done any story before, but I was made to understand what actually had happened. I was made to understand what has happened behind the scene. I was even made to understand the entire packet generation and everything. And I'm really thankful to people like you, even college students, even people who are covering these kind of Aadhaar programs at Jalandhar level also. They came up and they helped me out, and they have made me this kind of thoda sa technical expert that I can just stand in front of you and again present this presentation to all of you. CEO UID, in 2017, he assured that UIDAI is working on a policy to enable security experts to report issues in a legal and safe manner. But abhi tak nothing so far has been done. A billion users, but there is no policy. Bug policy to dur ki baat hai, not even a single policy is there, which can prevent you guys from, highlighting these bugs or these kind of issues, to flag these issues. And till the time, Mr. Ajay Bhushan Pandey, Mr. Nilenkani, or other stakeholders of Aadhaar, they come up with this kind of issues. All I can assure you right now is that there is Rachna Khaira in every newsroom in the country, and we keep on highlighting these issues, we keep on having these FIRs, and we keep on getting the support, the technical support, and the technical guidance from people like you. Thank you so much. Questions? My story was simple, but still, if you want to ask any questions about my investigation or anything, you're most welcome. Even if you want to ask you what I'm going to do next, I'm ready to explain that to you. Even if you want to ask me about what all is happening in digital India, I'm ready. I can give you so many ideas. That's up to you what you want to ask me. Important question. You'll be happy to know that my login is still working, but I cannot find it, whether it's working or not. Reason being, the portal which was, which was used, that portal is down since January 4th. So, one of a very high-level, cabinet-level minister, he visited Jalandhar last week. There was an inauguration of an airport, domestic airport. Last week it was opened. The first flight was launched on 1st of May. He asked me, I asked him, we were just talking, kuch thoda sa halka fulka mazak ho raha tha. He asked me, I said, what is your Aadhaar number, sir? He says, तुम बड़ी छाई हुई हो आधार पे. मैंने कहा, कोई बात नहीं, आप आधार नंबर दो, मैं आपको बताती हूँ डिटेल. तो he says, अरे तुम्हें मेरी डिटेल चाहिए, सॉफ्टवेयर तो तुम लेके घूम रही हो. And he said that in front of so many people. So he says, तुम अगर इतना लेके घूम रही हो, तो तुम निकालो. And everybody started laughing. I answered him, okay. A cabinet-level minister was here last week on 1st of May. There was a domestic airport that was opened in Jalandhar. 1st of May was the first flight. So this cabinet minister came up and he said that you are very famous for this Aadhaar story. People are calling you from all over the world. I said, this is what we did, and there was a problem. He says, oh, really? There's a problem. I said, yes. I said, you give me your Aadhaar number. I'll give you your detail. He says, oh, you are asking me? Software is available with you. You go and find out my Aadhaar number. The moment he said that, everybody started laughing. So I said, sir, I cannot do anything because your government has not even opened the site again. It is not able to correct it. So that site is not working. How will I tell you? So the government is not able to find a solution to put it again back on net. So that was the issue. So sorry, I am not aware right now the status of my login. You have to ask Mr. Nilenkani or to Mr. Ajay Bhushan Pandey. Yeah. Yeah. What's your name? Shrikant. Yeah, Shrikant.
You revoke it if the Supreme Court allows you to?
Between a secret between you guys and me, I have Aadhaar. I have Aadhaar. I was very happy. I even took my 2-year-old daughter to an Aadhaar enrollment center. We got ourselves enrolled. We clicked selfies. We informed everyone that, look, we are the proud owners of Aadhaar. Because I never thought that I'm going to do this kind of story. I had full faith in the government, and I thought that it's a very good program. And I even got my cards linked. But yes, after the story, now I'm arguing with the banks and with everyone. Look, I know it. So this all is happening. Yeah.
What do you think is the minimum set of changes that UIDAI should do for, in your opinion, for Aadhaar to be acceptable in terms of security as a non-tech person?
I think किस level पे to what level they will do it, I can't comment on that because as you know, the case is there in the Supreme Court. What I really want is that the government, the data is not reliable. The data inside the CIDR is not reliable. It is having the details of foreign nationals. It is having the details of all bad elements. It is not able to remove the data of those who are, who are bad characters. Even as I told you that there was in Jalandhar, a Pakistan spy was caught. He was having Aadhaar card. So many cases were reported of prostitutes, of these foreign nationals, of kind of dogs in the Hindu gods and goddesses. They were not able to remove that. They were not able to cancel that. There is no policy as such. The government, this Pakistan spy was caught. It was around 4 to 5 months from Jalandhar. He was a Pakistani national. He had an Aadhaar card. He purchased a property in Jalandhar. He was just staying next to the cantonment area. Jalandhar is a major security, this army military base, having BSF, Army and Air Force also, major Air Force station also. This person was staying next to the Indian Army cantonment area. But till date, I have not asked the officials, but I'm sure that there's no policy that they must have written to the UIDAI to inform them that, look, this is the Aadhaar card, please cancel it. There is no policy as such. So what I want is that this entire system, it is good till the time it is able to, it is a voluntary. It should enroll, even if you want to enroll it mandatory, it should involve only those people who want to enroll themselves into some kind of welfare schemes. Because yes, this is true that a lot of misuse of these welfare funds are being done at the village level, at the urban level also. So if some kind of card is there, in fact, only for those people who are, having some kind of enrollment under any kind of welfare scheme, that is okay. But making it mandatory for all financial transactions, they can do that, but then they have to assure you guys should be convinced that yes, this software is totally, you cannot break it, you cannot do anything to it. This is particularly safe, we have provided you security. They can make it mandatory, but not. I think it is just not possible for them. They don't have that expertise, and they will not have, I think, in the next 20 to 50 years. So I don't think it should be made mandatory. Because you guys are capable enough, I'm not pointing out, but you don't have the permission. You write something, you flag some issue, and you will have, this kind of handcuff, and they'll take you to the jail. So I don't want that. We want you people here listening to our talks. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things you said already, and we cannot discount all these data breaches. But in an ideal condition, do you think it is good or bad for a country to sort of identify all its citizens, and this sort of, in an ideal situation, would still Aadhaar be of any good?
Aadhaar itself as an identity tool is not good because we already have so many identity tools. What is better than a passport? A passport, I think every one of us must be having passports. Even if not, you will, what experience I have in Punjab, even a person who's not having food to eat, he's having a passport because he dreams of going abroad. There is a lady, she doesn't have even, she's just hand to mouth. She was sold to by one of the agents to Saudi Arabia as maid. She just paid some 5,000 rupees. She's also having a passport. So there are so many ways by which, you can just have, you go to any foreign country out of out of India. The only identity which you have is your passport. They do not accept Aadhaar cards. They do not accept any other, your driving license or everything. So I don't think Aadhaar has got that kind of credibility in the international media. We Indians are not going to stay inside India only. People like you must be traveling every month to foreign countries or to foreign, foreign shows. So if the government cannot provide you, we should have an identity, but it should have an international significance. The countries should accept that kind of this thing. What is the fun of having an Aadhaar card here in India? We are in India, we don't need an identity card. Do I need an identity? I don't require an identity. I am born in India, I got my birth certificate. That's fair enough that I'm in India. I'm an Indian. Sometimes I speak from my heart. Yeah.
Hi, this is Anand here. If we speak in that perspective, even in US, we don't consider the social security number as a valid identity. We consider the passport of the US citizens when they visit India, right? So how can we compare the Aadhaar with respect to social security? I mean, will that
Sorry,
be good?
sorry, your voice is not clear. Please come again.
No, you were telling that passport itself is enough, right? So when we take up US or say any Western countries structure of how they take in details of their citizens, they have social security number and other details, right? So can that be considered as a better medium of validating their citizens?
See, one thing which I understood by dealing with cyber issues, cyber security issues, and dealing with experts like you since January is this, that you cannot assure anything in cybersecurity. You cannot say that this particular website, this particular program, this thing is sure. It is just hack-proof. Even the US also, the social security was hacked. I came to know about that. If we do not have any, if we cannot assure its security, what is the fun of having this? Or we should make it mandatory, but we should keep it to a minimum level. We should make it to a minimum level so that our privacy, our interest, our financial or our other social interests should not be affected. You know, you can understand, you guys must be staying in metro cities, but the situation in rural is too bad as far as communalism is concerned. I'm from Jalandhar. From the last 1 month, I think this internet was down. It was, it was put off for almost 15 to 20 days because there is a small place called Fagwada that's just next to Jalandhar. And there is a national highway that's passing from Delhi, for Delhi to Amritsar, that's passing from there. One side is the high caste community, the one side is the reserved community. Every time there is some problem, they come up on road, they block the highway, they cut off the entire North India from the rest of the country, and then we don't have any option just to put the internet down. So my idea is this, that providing any kind of security number, why we are providing that? Usme information hai. We do not want to put the, okay, you are from SC category, you are from reserved category, you are from high Jatsik family. There is no need. There should be a bare minimum program. It should have some kind of, okay, you are, you give some kind of colors to the card. You can issue some kind of cards. You can issue a color, okay, she's for that food security scheme. This is for education scheme. This is for Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan scheme. You can give colors. Why you want to give numbers? We don't want numbers. We already have got a lot of numbers. We are over 1 billion. So we don't want that. And a lot of infrastructure, a lot of money, a lot of, these things are being utilized. We could have utilized it for putting it some other better use for education, for improving the health services in the country. We don't need an identity. I don't think so. Yeah.
Are you planning on doing any investigative follow-up stories?
Investigative follow-ups. Do you want me to do that? Okay. So just pray. Okay. I know, you guys knows more than me, yaar. You guys knows I'm going to investigate which thing I'm investigating. I'm sure you must have done a postmortem also of that. The only thing is I need to find out kya aapne kiya kya hai. I keep on, calling these experts, kuch batao, give me some lead. So just says, okay, what happened to your FIR case? They will tell me, bhaiya, mat karo, abhi tum thoda rest karo, huh? Tumne already baat kar liya. You have done enough, now you just relax and do it later on. Yes, I want to tell you this thing. The Digital India program that has got all kind of digital locker scheme, Aadhaar scheme, Bhima app, Prime Minister, PMG Disha program, Skill Development India, Make in India, all these kind of programs. A little closer look in these issues, these schemes had confirmed that they were not implemented properly in the country. Not even in small villages, but even in cities also, right? And I am working over that. I am looking in these welfare schemes. I wanted to know, in fact, what is happening, these kind of, not welfare schemes, the development programs. I want to know, I want to understand to what level they were implemented and to what level, they have really made a difference. I really would love to report it from ground that yes, how much success we got in implementing these programs. And I assure you that I'm going to check every scheme one by one.
Thank you, Rachna, for that talk. We'll end these questions right now.